There's something wrong with the sound system? So now I present Mrs. Elliott. Mrs. Elliott.
All right. 恭喜發財. Yeah. You don't even know what that means. Yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Good photos. All right. So, friends of Center for Spiritual Center, today you're actually going to be treated to Chinese New Year Celebration 101. Oh. Now, some of you already know about Chinese New Year. Let me ask you that. What comes to your mind when you think about Chinese New Year?
Red envelopes.
Money.
Elliott.
Red envelope. Yeah, family. Dragon parades. Firecrackers. Yes, I hear you all. I hear you all. But you know what? That's so superficial. It's just all for show. Because right here at Center for Spiritual Living, we heard Reverend Linda and your speaker say, it's all spiritual, isn't it? The story behind it, this incredible tale that I'm going to share with you, is spiritual. Now that's kind of odd because all of you, if you follow Chinese history, especially when it's ruled by Confucianism, Confucius and China, they don't really talk about gods, you see. And in fact, when you interview Confucius himself, he says, well, I haven't died yet, so I really don't know what heaven looks like. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not dead, so I don't know if there's a hell. I'm not going to talk about that. Instead, I'm just going to observe what is on earth and make my commentaries on how the best way for us to behave and still enjoy life together. Now, if that isn't a really good recipe for leading a life with peace on earth, that's a good start, isn't it? But let me tell you the real story behind Chinese New Year. Before I do that, I've got to take this beautiful red shirt off. Oh. You know why? Because it isn't a pretty tale. It's a very sad tale. And this is how it begins. Once upon a long, long, long time ago, 4,716 years to be exact, China was a huge, massive land, but there was hardly anybody there. There weren't that many people, believe it or not. You look at it now, the billions, you see, but at that time, huge landmass, hardly anybody there. Why? The harsh weather conditions. Really, really harsh. You know, only 10% of China is arable. You can't plant stuff on there too. And primitive farming tools, famine, and floods just wrecked this poor area population year after year. But the one thing that I heard that killed and got rid of more than anything else is this legendary ferocious predator that just devoured everything within its sight year after year after year. And this creature, they call it Nian. Yeah. It's synonymous with year, but the actual word is Nian. Doesn't that sound pretty ferocious? Nian. Yeah. All right. Legend has it that this creature had the head of a horse, and at the end of it, it had fangs, and it had a body that has scales, almost like metal plates on there too. Yeah, it had bloodshot eyes that just grossly protruded out of that, and it had this tail with a spike at the end of it that could, bam, hit with amazing accuracy. You don't want to mess with this creature. So one thing we do know, that everywhere Nian went, the stories of just untold devastation was just shared everywhere. And the villagers were just so scared and say, wait a minute, year after year we had to accept this kind of fate? We are man. Does man have some intelligence over the beast? Surely we can come up with some idea. Well, they started to observe this Nian creature and notice that it is one of those animals that hibernate. Ooh, follow the pattern and you notice that Nian does not come out most of the year. It just comes out right toward the end of the year. And just those few days when it comes out of hibernation, you know what the hibernated creature wants to do, huh? I'm hungry. Pretty much there too. You know, so on the money, right toward the end of the year, this creature does come out. So here is a village of people saying, come on, let's just put all our smarts together and see. They held a town council meeting and say, what should we do? What should we do about this creature? Well, what do we know about animals? You know, they're scared of noises. Whoa, they're scared of noises. Okay, that is a good idea. So when this creature comes, I'm going to get my pots and pans out. I'm gonna have noisemakers on there. Get my instruments ready. What else do I know about the animals? You know, they're agitated by the color red. Ooh, you think it's just coincidental that they also fell in love with red. No, you heard it. You know, el toro, dum 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 choo. You know, when the animal sees red, they really are agitated. They don't say, go Niners. They just go. They're agitated. Solution number 2. We are going to hang red everywhere we do that. But you know what? While we're doing that, I just hang this one here, banners and cloth. But, you know, it's kind of boring. When I see a banner or a cloth, I really like what they did at CSLP. They've got statements on there. They've got affirmations on there. You know what? Can you put something that means something on there? Okay, let me put this word out. This is also your Chinese 101 lesson. This word, pronounced I, means love. Okay, now we are actually going to prepare for the event that this creature comes on. So I am going to assign one of you to who's going to represent love here. All right. Now, this is a Chinese word. This is a pronunciation, and this is the meaning, okay? You are assigned that red banner. All right, what else is meaningful to you? Oh, I know, here's a word. This word is pronounced go. And you know what it means? It means, You know who would love to have this word there too. Oh, call it appropriate. Call it appropriate. Okay, now here's another word, a series of 4 words. Okay, when you see the pronunciation, you also sort of know, oh, I know where you're going with that. Gong. Kathy has asked me about that. It means wish. Gong. Okay, what do you wish? Hey. Hey, that's you. Okay? Hey, it means, oh. Note that this one word means happiness, but I've got banners here that has 2 of them. What am I wishing you? Double happiness. Oh my goodness. I wish this man double happiness. Okay? Yeah, what am I missing? What's coming up? What word comes up next?
Fat.
Hey, I resemble that remark. No, I don't. Okay. But that word really means something. Fat, which is in Cantonese, fat in Mandarin, it means burst. You know, flourishing, coming forth with. So now this person looks like she's just bursting with energy, doesn't it? That's her Bobby. Yeah. So she gets to be fat.
I'm fat.
This is the first time I'm able to say that to her, okay? All right. And you know the last word that goes with gong hei fat. Ah, you guys, way too smart for me. Wow. And you know what that word means? Prosperity, wealth, abundance. This man looks like he could do with a lot of prosperity.
Pick the guitar player.
Pick the guitar player. Okay, so now you're part of my CSLP village. We're problem solving here. What else can I do about this creature besides noise, the agitating color red, which I am going to plaster and wave all around when that creature comes out? You know what? The animal has a keen sense of smell, doesn't it? Ooh. And so once it comes out of hibernation and that keen sense of smell goes around, if I decide to do my usual cooking, which means that we have an omnivorous land of people there at that time, that means a lot of people are meat eaters. And when you eat meat, those of you, you know it doesn't come in those little packages Safeway. Slaughter is just part of the routine. When you start to slaughter and there's blood, you can bet that creature will smell that miles away. So how about for that time, let's all be vegetarian. Huh? Yeah. I mean, you've seen them at parades. You know, the dragon coming in, you see this lettuce being waved to them and stuff like that, all right? Now, I have that Nian creature. When it comes over here, I gotta make sure that one of you are ready to feed that creature. Yes, you're going to be assigned something different. Okay. Oh, no. All right. Wendy, are you a vegetarian?
I am.
Yoo, that gets it. Yes, young man?
Occasionally.
Yes. And if you're still hungry.
I still wait.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Because you know why? If we could get that creature to fill up with vegetables, it may not want to eat you. Isn't that a good idea? All right. So perhaps we could wean it and make it. All right. And then, what other ideas can you think of? All right. So this is how it goes as traditional Chinese New Year. Because before I mentioned this last solution, every Chinese New Year if you are practicing the tradition at all, New Year's Eve, everybody gathers for a meal together. All your loved ones, all your family. Have to be mandatory. When I was growing up, I said, Dad, I got a hot date. He says, I don't care if you have a hot date, a cool date. You are coming home to eat this meal together. Symbolically, when you go back to the village years ago, that last meal that you eat together, when that creature comes out, it could be your last supper, isn't it? Because once that creature roams, and there were untold tales of people, relatives, beasts of burden, totally, chewed up, swallowed, gone. So that year after year after year, you make this inventory to see who is still even alive at that time. Huge appetite there. So there was a tradition. Last day of the year is when this creature, before he goes down, he is going to fill himself up his chair because he's got to go to hibernation for 1 year. So, Christophe, you have to come home. I don't care if you are 27, 32, 48. You go home. You go home. So this New Year's Eve dinner is absolutely critical if you know anybody who celebrates that there. So this fifth solution that we have is that on a certain day, out of sight, out of mind, don't go out. Don't go out. Make yourself scarce. So at that time, we all gather together. And so, when that time comes, okay, that's what you do on New Year's Eve. This is the bigger celebration. It's not what you do afterwards. Because everything that leads to it is a survival tale, isn't it? Everything that led to it is also a story about how people got together to think. And once this village figured out what to do, they sent a messenger to several villages all around. This is what we're going to do that too. This is what you're going to do that too. This is what you're going to do. See? And this is the New Year's Eve celebration. Let me tell you about what we do on New Year's Day. On New Year's Day, this is your checklist to do. Must wear something new. Woo! Preferably red, but as long as it's new. Must prepare red envelopes. Oh, you heard that from somebody that says, money. Okay, now here's a tradition in China. When you give something, you always give them in pairs. Why? This is wishing that you never be alone. Everybody should always be paired. Now, I'm not preaching that you have to be married, okay? But everybody needs a friend. You never wish one person. Always give pair. So if you're going to give a red envelope, you give them in pairs. But some of us are very smart. For example, last year when I had to give a thing, I just got 2 nickels. I put 2 nickels in my red envelope, and there you go. Same concept? All right. Now, because Reverend Kathy said, we did fairly well this year because of all your generosity. Afterwards, we also have prepared red envelopes for you. And guess what? There are 2 crisp $1 bill and each of these, all right? Now, in order to get one, tradition is that you have to go to a person, and then we have designated people, either Reverend Abigail or Reverend Kathy or Reverend Linda. You need to go to them and say, Gong Hei Fat Choi. You see? That's fair. You don't go, hey, give me that red envelope. Rude. No. Not a cool thing to do on there too. And so, my friend, now that you know that on that New Year's Day, your mission is to go and visit as many relatives and friends as possible. Because put yourself back at that time, 4,716 years ago, when you woke up that year, and you do your usual head count, like, oh, Terry, you're still alive. Oh my gosh, Richard, you're still here. You would have made a good appetizer. But you, no, okay? Yeah. But remember, that year, when the end came out, what did you do? You knew how to do the noisemaker. You knew how to wave the red. You knew how to eat vegetarian. You knew how to gather together as one community and prepare it to gather there. So when that happens and you found out, oh my gosh, village after village after village, they did that. And they fed this creature with vegetarian stuff. I was looking for kale, but they didn't have that in China. That's okay. So, CSLP, I want you to be ready now. I'm going to be assigning when this creature comes back out again. All right, underneath your seats, some of you have instruments. There are noisemakers. Yes? Yes. And those of you who don't, there you go. Yeah. And that's yeah. Therefore, my friends, think of ourselves as New Year's Eve. Is it true that we have gathered all our loved ones? Yes. And those of you who are going to stay for our potluck, remember, we got quite a feast there for you too. Everybody brought their favorite Chinese food, even though someone had asked me how to make one, and I showed you how to do that. Okay. Now. And all of you got your noisemakers. Oh my goodness. Who else don't have instruments of warding them off? My goodness, you guys are wicked. I'm ready. Oh, this young woman. Okay, go 49ers. All right, come on, head 11. Oh my goodness, you guys are ready. Paul. Yes, that's my main man. All right. Now, it is that time of the year. We know where preacher is. Stand aside, Reverend Linda. Gonna be bigger than us. Oh no. Joe, we got to get the intro. Oh. It is locked. Yeah. My goodness.